All right, so again, good morning. And we have our blankets. I've changed the direction of my studio again. We'll see how this works out this morning. So the theme for class is stability and stillness. And that's been kind of the theme most mornings. And as we moved into this online teaching world, I can hear my neighbors are hey Scotchy, come here. Not sure, the downstairs people are moving around. Come here, guys. So this might take a minute. Come here, Bubba. There we go. Like I said, so the theme has been stability and stillness, and then I've even further themed this class to be called Earthborn. And the thinking behind that was just that really starting to get a little bit more connection with the body and the breath. And so we're going to start, like I said, on our backs with a little lift underneath the spine so that we can find what's known as your breath print, which is similar, and you may have heard me talk about this before. This comes from Richard Rosen in his book on pranayamas. And the breath print is like a fingerprint, and it does change. And like your fingerprint, which stays the same, your breath print, just depending on what's going on with your body and emotions, your breath print can change. So we'll start lying on our backs, and that blanket is going to be underneath the spine, but then your head's going to be off of the blanket. So you might have to take a moment to adjust. And then I like to start with my knees bent so I can feel the whole spine pressing down on the ground. And here's just where we're going to begin, and we're going to be here for a little while. So you should be able to feel, if you have a dog on you, should be able to feel your breath, or cat. I know some of you have kitties. The low back pressing down, and just take the arms off to the side, and we'll stay here for a moment, just moving around to try and get any wiggles out so that we can get nice and comfortable. You can pull the flesh away from the sits bones, and then go ahead and find the back of the head, the occipital ridge there, pressing down into the ground. And it's fine if the hands are on the tummy or on the chest. But we'll start here, closing the eyes, maybe moving through the face, the jaw, the fingertips. And starting to soften from the soles of the feet, up through the legs and the knees, the thighs, the hips. Letting all of those muscles begin to soften, relax. Working from the tailbone up the spine to the back of the head. Shoulders and softening across your collarbones. Feeling the weight of the body nice and heavy. Starting with the physical body. Noticing any places of coolness and warmth. Noticing the places where there's exposed skin, and then where the clothes are touching the skin. So the pranayama here, this energy breath practice, goes from completely allowing the cadence of the breath to be natural, and then we do a little bit of work or mindful breathing, and then go back to the natural cadence and depth of the breath. But even though as soon as you start to pay attention to the breath, the cadence does shift a little bit. But just see if you can become more of the witness of the breath rather than I am breathing, the body is breathing. So noticing the body breathing. Noticing where the body is holding breath, the depth of the breath. So we'll spend about 7 to 10 rounds of breath just becoming very inquisitive. So you might have longer breaths or shorter breaths or deeper or shallower. It's watching the body breathe. We're going to become a little bit more active in our breath. So go ahead and take the arms and reach them over the head. And naturally the whole spine is going to want to lift up. See if you can shift around again so that you're going to tuck the tailbone maybe so that you can still press and have contact with the spine and the floor. And I do like to keep my knees bent. If it feels better for you to have the legs extended, go right ahead. And again, we're shift to becoming the watcher. Just noticing how raising the arms above the head, lengthening, giving more space to the torso and lungs has changed the cadence of your breath. Maybe starting to discover a little bit more depth of breath. Just watching the body breathe. And then if the legs are extended, we'll slide them back. And if they're bent, that's great. And on your next exhale, you're going to bring the arms down to either side of the side waist with a count of 4. So we'll exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, sweep the arms above the head. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like a slow pump, inhaling, filling, and exhaling, pressing out. 2, 3, 4. Keep going with your matching that movement, counting to 4, exhaling down for 4. Even breath. Inhale for the count of 4. Exhale for the count of 4. So the only layer we're going to add in here as you inhale, reach the arms up, count 4, exhale, count 4, is that you're attempting to now fill the entire rib cage 360 degrees with breath, and exhale, pressing everything out. Deepening the breath. Keep going. Really paying attention to even filling up between the ribs from the inside out, like you're stretching the lungs. Notice if there's any little hitches between the inhale and exhale, any stutters. See if maybe slowing down or speeding up evens them out. Keep going. 5 more rounds. Maybe you have 1 more round, maybe 2. After this last round, you'll bring the arms down. Again, the knees can stay bent, and we'll just let the body relax again. And back to the awareness, the witness of the breath. Maybe noticing a little bit more fullness as we've shifted our breath right. I am breathing in, or this body is breathing in. This body is breathing out. We're going to remove ourselves from the blanket. So roll off to one side, scoot your blankie all the way. And then we'll practice a mini Shavasana, extending the legs, extending the arms. And another 7 to 10 witnessing breaths. Allowing the cadence to be whatever the natural is for you right now. Maybe noticing a coolness along the spine or between the shoulder blades. And after this last inhale and exhale, we'll slide the right knee into the chest. Give the right knee a nice big hug. And just a simple supine twist. Take the right knee across the body. Right arm can come above the head. Feeling the left side of the body soften towards the ground. And just let the arrangement of the body do the work. And we'll roll back to center and just do the same thing on the second side. Left knee slides into the chest. Simple twist. Rolling back to center. We'll hug both knees in and then reach both soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. So if you wanted to, you could use a strap. You're just gonna pedal, pedal, pedal till we reach up and you have the whole spine pressing on the ground. If there's a little bend in the knees, that's just fine. You can physically kind of move some flesh away so that you can feel the sacrum and the whole spine on the floor. And keep reaching the soles of the feet up and maybe holding on to the backs of the legs. And if this feels okay for you, you could reach the arms back again above the head. That feels okay for the shoulders and you have the whole spine on the ground. And just start to watch as this becomes a little bit more difficult. And where the breath wants to go. See if you can maintain that expansion, the connection of the spine to the floor, back of the head. Staying with a lot of space in your breath. And noticing when it starts to get more difficult, 5 more breaths. Following those inhales and exhales. Aware of the sensations arising in the body. And go ahead and plant the feet hip width distance apart. Bring the arms down to either side of the side waist and we'll do some rolling bridges. Pressing into the floor, inhale, lift. Sweep the arms above the head and exhale, come down. Starting to, again, pump more energy into the physical body, and as well as pumping that energetic breath. Five more. Last one. And then come on down. You're going to roll off to one side. Slide forearm underneath and let the sideways drop down and the head drop down. Just trying to build a little bit of space underneath the ribs, opening up the neck. Keep pressing down into the forearm and then maybe extend the legs. Still maintaining that connection, that ground, coming up to meet the body, feeling the support of the earth. And you're more than welcome to rebend the knees, or you're going to take the top foot toe points down towards the floor, and then we're just going to raise and lower that leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze. Couple more. And then we'll slide the heel up towards the hip, rotate, and slide the foot back down. We're doing these rolling trees. Making up the hip. Inhale up, exhale, press down. And then go the opposite direction, slide up and press away. And again, you're more than welcome to stay up. You could even place a support underneath the arm if you'd prefer, or you can come down all the way onto your side, so you're kind of hanging out as you slide knee up, press down, and either stay there or hug the knee in or take the hand to the foot and lift. So wherever you are, just staying for about another 5 breaths, softening into the pose. You can have the eyes closed, or a nice soft focus on the floor in front of you. Go ahead and let the leg come down if it was down, up or off to the side, and then we'll roll back onto our backs. Just let all of that work settle in. Tapping back into your breath print. Roll to your second side. And the forearm underneath, get that nice space along the sideways. Head drops down, And bent knees maybe on this side or extending. Finding the balance along the hip. Taking that top foot, toe faces down, lift and lower. Inhale up, exhale to the floor. Two more. And then we'll bring the knee up and make our big tree rotations. Staying with the connection of breath, feeling the body press down to the floor. Switch directions. Finding the balance as well. So maybe you need to shift your weight forward or back more. And then we'll slide the knee up, creating our tree. Maybe take the foot and lift up. Maybe coming all the way down onto the side. Letting the head just rest in the hand. Finding a focal point or closing the eyes. Two more breaths. And then from here, you'll let that top leg come down, and rather than rolling on the back, go ahead and roll on the tummy. Make a little pillow for the forehead. Feel free to wiggle the tailbone and just let the whole body drop down. Finding your breath print on your stomach, feeling the breath coming back towards the face as you breathe to the floor. And then we'll slide the hand to either side as you move to your child's pose. Knees nice and wide. You could have the forearms on the ground and just rest the head in the hands, or fully extend the arms out. Allowing the low back to soften. And so a little bit more active child's pose as you're inhaling. Try and grow a little bit longer through the sideways, maybe even tent the fingertips, and exhaling, pressing the hips back to the heels. Taking the arms as wide as you need to.
One more inhale and exhale.
Then we'll walk the hands back and we're gonna sit on tops of the feet. And then snuggle the top of the left foot into the sole of the right foot as you drop your hips to the right. You might want to block. We're going to plant the left hand down, or you could hold on to the ankle as you reach up through the right side waist and come pouring off to the side. The knees are coming apart. That's natural. Maybe tuck the tailbone back and forth a couple of times until you find better place or the best position for the hip. Maybe look up and down a few times. And notice how it feels to have the compression along the left side waist, compressing in that left lung and lifting and opening up through the right. Inhale up. Just go ahead and shift sides. Snuggling the top of the right foot into the sole of the left foot. The right hand's gonna plant. Leave the left arm up and over. Move through the tailbone, the hips, through the neck. One more breath. And press yourself back up. Swing the legs out in front of you. And we'll wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And feel free to bring blocks if you'd like to as the soles of the feet come together and the knees apart. And I like to move the flesh away from my sits bones again so I can really feel the sits bones on the ground. And we're gonna come forward. Reach through the crown of the head. Try and draw the chest forward. And maybe use the elbows to anchor the inner thighs down. So rather than curling in, a nice big reach, elongating the low back, reaching through the crown of the head. So the breath here, an inhale, lengthening, exhale, anchor the sits bones back down. And if it feels better, if you feel like your thighs are anchored or pinned down, go ahead and take the arms wide if you, that seems like it'd be nice and appropriate to have that reaching sensation. Two more breaths here. And slide the hands back, press yourself up. Assist the knees closed. We'll hold on to the backs of the thighs as you tuck the tailbone and hang back. Getting that nice curl stretch. Inhaling up, extend the legs out in front. Again, moving the flesh away from the sits bones. I'm going to inhale, reach the right arm up and reach for the outside of the left leg. And if you want to hold on to the thigh, that's fine. And then we're going to peel the left arm and try and look behind you as you draw the shoulder blades down. So we're getting a little bit different motion in the chest. Nice expansive twist. If you're up a little bit higher, that's just fine. Reaching out from the soles of the feet, roll the inner thighs together. Notice if the legs locked, you want to have extension, soft thighs. And go ahead and unwind yourself. Slide the arms up, maybe move the shoulders down and away a couple of times or back and forward. And then we'll reach that left arm up, reach for the outside of the right leg, peel, twist, look behind you. If it's too much for the neck, of course, look in front. Pressing the outside of the hand into the outside of the leg to assist the twist. One more breath. Unwinding yourself. And then we'll just find a comfortable seated position. Noticing which shin is in front. We'll continue to work through the lungs. Really get the low half of the body nice and stable. And we'll inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, flex the hands, press away. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, chin to chest, press away. Just a couple more like this, warming up the shoulder. Two more. Last one. And then bring the hands interlaced behind the back, or you can just press the backs of the hands into one another in the fists. Or sliding the one fist down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then curl in. So it's not a whole lot, but we're working through the thoracic spine here, our least flexible. Little mini cat cows. If the hands are just at the back, you'd be able to feel pressure, the mid spine pressing into the knuckles. Few more. And then chin to chest, allow the arms to come down. We'll just take the opposite shin in front. And we're going to add in a little bit of a twist. Inhale, reach the right arm across the body, looking behind you. And exhale, flip the palm away and reach towards the left. Inhale, sweep up, exhale. Palm facing away and then down. Two more. And let the right arm relax as you inhale, left arm across the body and down. Last one. And back to center. We'll take our folded up blanket, or if you didn't have the blanket, you could fold up the mat if you'd like a little extra padding. Might even want to fold it up once more. So we're going to come forward to our all fours and support the left thigh as we bring the right leg forward. We're going to start with a lunge here. You could curl the left toes under if you wanted to, but take the feet as wide as you'd like. We're going to inhale up. Putting length along the side waist. And if you can, palms come to touch, or you could hold on to opposite elbow if that's better. You find a lift in the spine, lift in the sternum. Holding here. One more breath. And then we'll release the hands down. Heel toe the right foot to the left side of the mat. And if you'd prefer pinwheel to pigeon, you'd just bring that left nail to the side. We have our bolster, or I'm sorry, our blankie here for support. So whichever one feels better for you this morning, and go ahead and come down. Feel free to roll back and forth on the hip. And back to the concept of being the watcher of the breath, noticing how deep you're breathing. The body is filling with oxygen, the body is releasing oxygen. Two more rounds of breath. And you can press yourself up. Unwind. Bring that right knee underneath the right hip. And we'll pause for a moment, sit on the tops of the feet. If it feels better to bring that blankie around underneath the hips, that's great too. And just let the body drop down. Little weight on the tops of the feet. Pause, close the eyes. After your next inhale and exhale, set yourself for the lunge side, left forward. Using this blanket if you'd like to support the back thigh. And toe can curl under, take as much space as you need. Press down into the big toe ball mound, pinky toe ball mound, and heel of the front foot. And if you'd like that, enjoying the capturing of the elbows. Help the idea of drawing up. Last breath. And then release, moving into your pigeon variation on the second side. Take your time to set up, wiggle the hips. Let the head drop down and press the breath up towards the spine as the head drops. Soften in, let the earth come up to meet your body for another 5 rounds of breath. Notice if you've collapsed, and keep a little bit of activation here, pressing the forearms down. And then you'll begin to make your way back. Seated on tops of the feet. Maybe the blanket for some support. To reach up through the crown of the head. Slide forward. You have the blanket, move it out of the way. To your all fours for some cat-cow. Inhale. Sway through the whole spine to lift, and exhale, press away. Waving from the tailbone up through the crown of the head. Keep going. Take your time to really enjoy the motion of the spine. If you would prefer to start to make circles, go right ahead. As you're inhaling and exhaling. Switch directions. And then from your all fours, we'll swing the legs around. You can plant the feet and roll down onto your back again. The legs extend. And we're back to finding our breath print. Go ahead and set yourself up to be nice and comfortable on your back. Maybe taking your blanket or blocks and slipping them underneath the knees or the feet. If you need just another twist, feel free to take one. And just let your body drop down. Start to imagine that your body is so heavy that it's being drawn through the floor. It's starting to be drawn down into the soil. And so we're just going to spend some time feeling that sensation of being tucked into the earth. You can imagine the toes growing like roots, starting to loop and descend deeper. And with the connection of roots into the soil, imagine that the rest of the body is beginning to grow back up through the layers. Eventually, the torso climbing out from the soil. And then the arms like leaves, growing, reaching. The head maybe as a flower or starting to branch out into a tree. Just staying here, noticing what it's like to have your roots so deeply tucked in. Feeling the change in temperature of the soil. Starting to create your bark or stem. Take your time here to just become very creative and dreamy. Using the character of the witness. What would it be like to live in this one place? Notice who might come and visit. What you might see through the seasons, the sky, and the temperatures. Who would be your neighbors? And go back to the sensation of breath and see yourself growing a little bit more on the inhale, reaching a little bit wider, further, higher. Exhaling, becoming a little bit more abundant. Inhaling, growing. Exhaling, finding that abundance. And then slowly beginning to feel the skin back on the body. Trying to bring those tendrils, roots back up to the physical form. Feeling the weight of your body on the floor. Feeling the air around you, the clothes touching the body. The sensations of heaviness and lightness. And then slowly begin to move the physical form again. Wiggling through the toes and the fingers. Maybe looking left and right or a full body stretch. You can slide the heels towards the hips, and of course staying on your back if you prefer for as long as you'd like. We're beginning to shift and move and coming up to a seat. So once you're up, interlacing the fingers above the head, pressing away, and just sway back and forth. And then a little twist to one side, little twist to your second side. Bring the hands together over the heart space. Just connecting with the sensation of the heart moving, the beat of the heart, the breath. Take a moment to thank yourself for taking time out of your day. And then something else that you're grateful for. Maybe it's just food in your belly or a house, a pet. And taking a moment to think about something that you're looking forward to. Maybe it's coffee or an adventure or a walk. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Be well, be kind, stay safe, and know that you are loved. Thank you.